Hey everybody, we are back with another episode of Building Better Bodies with Devin Brady, the docs, Dr. Amir, Dr. Roberto, and Brandy. And today, this is the episode where we kind of update you on our progress, Brandy and I, and how it's going. And because we're so excited about the new challenges coming up and the competitions that we're having, and your progress that we're going to get to see and be a witness to on a weekly basis. We're just so pumped up and excited. We want to talk to you guys about something really important, and that is to how do you challenge yourself and how do you stick with something? I mean, the last 3-4 visits, I think we've been talking about that, where you were talking about how to use the date. And how to build momentum, how to continue and check progress and all of that. And we talked about accountability. What I want to bring up is something called integrity. And integrity is, doing what you say you're going to do. And we talked about Muhammad Ali walking around saying, "Oh, I am the greatest." And he was challenging himself, and then he would get up. And now be careful, because sometimes we share our dream with somebody who wants to see us fail. Somebody who goes, "I knew you wouldn't stick with it. I knew you couldn't do it." And that can really bring us down. So we want to be careful with that too. But when we say it, when we speak it into existence, then we have to back it up. And the best way to destroy your self-confidence, your belief in yourself, is to actually break a promise that you make to yourself. Are you keeping the promises you make to yourself? How many times have you said, "I'm going to get up at 5 tomorrow and I'm going to go for a run"? And at 5:10, you're hitting the snooze for a second time. Has that ever happened? How many of you say, "I'm going to start Monday," and Monday comes and passes? Or how many of you say, "This is going to be my year. This year I'm going to transform. This year I'm going to change"? But then you remember you said that in 2018. You also said it in 2017 and even 2016. And what's going to make this year different? You brought something up earlier before we started recording when it comes to those things. What did you say?
Well, we had been to a seminar before, and we've been to a lot of them. But this was really impactful. And the person we were listening to was talking about how subconsciously, and he kind of used a great visual talking about these little, if you think of your subconscious mind as these little guys who are like going around and pulling the information from different files, where we store things, not even really realizing it, and our experiences and what we tell ourselves and what people tell us, they all get filed away in different places. And so when we do something like start a new diet or start a new workout plan, or we say, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and we don't end up following through, that all gets filed away in the subconscious mind. And then when we go to start something new, really subconsciously, we don't even realize what's going on back there. Our mind is going, "Oh yeah, we were going to start something new every Monday last year, we didn't do it. So don't worry, you can kind of set it to the side. I'm sure we'll get around to it." And really subconsciously, we're really telling ourselves it's probably not going to happen. So you have to begin to do things that are going to break those patterns of thought that we don't even realize are there, which is such an abstract thought, I guess, or conversation, because most of us don't think of our subconscious mind as little people running around, taking that information and storing it for us. But when you begin to think of it that way, it's amazing how powerful that is, and what you may need to do to kind of break some of those so you can stop breaking those promises and actually experience success. And I think it pulls from the subconscious into your conscious mind, and just going, I need to be really, really specific and make sure I hold to these things so that I have a new file to draw from.
Yeah, I mean, 95% of everything we do is pre-programmed.
Yeah.
The way we brush our teeth and get dressed and shower and whatever it is, So how did it become pre-programmed? It's because of repetition.
Yeah.
It's whatever you do over and over and over and over. So what Brandy's saying is if we make a promise and we break that promise to ourselves, the next time is it harder or easier?
It's going to be harder. And it probably begins, in childhood, even like seeing those around you, your environment. I'll start studying at X time, and that time comes and you don't, or you see your parents or friends. So, probably something you see a lot, Devin, as well with some of your clients. So.
Absolutely. And I mean, obviously we're not gonna politicize any issue here. That's not what we're here to talk about. But certainly I think most people who are out there now, young parents, parents with kids, friends, family, colleagues, we understand that certainly here in 2019, we all live in a society that is more accepting of all types than perhaps ever before. And it's wonderful to be alive in this time, but we also have to understand that young kids, kids in formative years, young men, young women, are growing up in programs where they're being challenged amongst their peers, and failure is accepted. And in some cases, it's almost as embraced as openly as those that excel, exceed, and win. So what your personal thoughts are on the issue aside, again, we're not here to be political. What we are doing is ingraining a pattern in young minds where failure or failing to live up to their best expectations is acceptable. And that is a behavioral pattern that will grow and be with these young men and women into adulthood. That's right. So as they go to start setting things for themselves, you know, goals and quests and careers and love and relationships in their physical endeavors, if they fall short, it's okay. Because guess what? Everyone gets a trophy. Right. You know, they're not holding themselves accountable to success. And as a result, as Brandy was speaking to, as Dr. Amir was speaking to, we're creating neural pathways in our mind that basically reinforce. So are we reinforcing a path of success, or are we reinforcing a path to failure? And over time, our body and the way we're taught and what we ingrain, we're building that file cabinet, right? And it's going to be of one or it's going to be of the other. So that's a really good kind of food for thought like topic, is for everyone watching this video now, is to be a little introspective. Think, look back at your life. Look at the way you've kind of held yourself accountable, the integrity level you have. Right. Is failure something that you're okay with? You know, is it something that bothers you? Is it something that gets under your skin and drives you to be better in whatever field or whatever respect we're talking about? Because that uncomfort, the discomfort, excuse me, with failure is what's going to lead to your success.
For sure. I mean, you know, there's been plenty of times where we made commitments to say we're going to do something, and then life just gets busier and busier, and there's plenty of excuses. So Brandy and I, we have 3 little kids. We run a business, and you know, we have a ton of stuff.
Yeah, we volunteer. We do everything everybody else does.
Yeah, on the board at Habitat for Humanity. I'm an elder at our church. I mean, there's lots of people talking on our time. And if you had asked us over 2 months ago, can you get to the gym for an hour a day, 6 days a week, 6 hours of, it's not just 6 hours, guys. You know what it is you got to plan and you got to prepare. And then you got to clean up afterwards, and you got to get changed, then get back in your car. You got to drive. And so it's really an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours of a commitment.
I was less busy 2 months ago when we committed to this. I actually had more time in my schedule than I do right now. Right. But because we made that commitment to each other, and we're competing, or we're competitive. I like that word. I do not get uncomfortable with the word competition. Right. And because we made the commitment to Deven, and because we made the financial commitment, which is a big thing too, then it didn't matter. It just meant, okay, now I have to get up 45 minutes earlier. I have to get my stuff ready the night before. I have to think ahead, and I have to plan more, and I have to put that extra cushion in, because yes, my 2-year-old is going to have a meltdown when he wakes up and I'm walking out the door. So you have to, it's one of those things where we ask people when we're interviewing interesting questions, do you do whatever it takes, or do you do your best? What do we like to see with that? Because
I don't hire the ones who say, I always do my best. Yeah. Because how do you know your best is good enough? Yeah. Right. What if you commit to doing whatever it takes?
Yeah. It's a different, oh my gosh, that's such a different thought process.
Right.
Because doing your best gives you an out. Yeah. Right? If you go, did you get that done? I did my best, but I just wasn't able to. Right. If I don't do whatever it takes every day, I don't make it into the gym.
Now, I'm not saying you're still going to succeed, but your chance of success increases.
Oh, way. Yeah.
Now I know you're going to give me everything you got and more.
And I'll give that back. You're still going to be further ahead.
Right.
You're never going to lose by doing whatever it takes. And I think sometimes we have, I don't mean to cut you off, a negative, and this is what I found in asking these questions in interviews, is that people automatically have a negative connotation in our day and age when you ask the question, are you willing to do whatever it takes, or do you play to win or play to have fun? People, I would say 90% of people automatically assume that when we say that, you have to step on people and you have to mistreat people. That is not what we're talking about, people. We're not saying, you know, step on the little guy or kick somebody in the knee to get to where you need to be. That's not what it's about. It's about, what do you need for yourself to make that happen? It's a different question.
Yeah. Are you willing to dig deep enough? When you hear Dr. Roberto say, I'm going to be a sore loser, so I'm going to do whatever it takes not to lose.
Right.
I'm not losing. Let's go. Let's compete. Now, who do I want to compete against? Do I want to compete against him? Or do I want to compete against someone who's just going to lay down and give it up on day one?
Like Katie, because she's just eating tacos right now. That's not who you want to compete
She
against.
does happen to be pregnant.
That's fair. But still.
And yes, she is eating right now as we speak. And Devin's going to put on 50 pounds.
That's right. So I should be eating as we speak.
She may have some leftovers.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and that sounds like a daunting mountain to climb. And again, what's the commitment you've made?
Yeah, so I mean, the commitment I've made is, again, I have to do something every day in every way that I can to make sure that I get the goal and get closer to the promise that I've made to myself and everybody that I'm close with, and that's to get back to the ideal physique that I want to get to, and again, I fully appreciate that I might already be starting, in a little bit higher than most people, but we all have our own individual goals. So again, just because I have a certain, low body fat percentage or a certain amount of muscle mass to the average person doesn't mean that me, Deven Brady, is okay with that as it is, or being, just above average, or, on the high end of the cusp. Like, fitness is my life. I've dedicated my life to this pursuit. I'm passionate about it. It's how I want to help people and engage with people. So for me, I need to be at the elite level. I want to compare myself against my peers as the best in the world. And the world's a big place. So if I'm going to try to compete in that field, I need to make sure that the commitment to myself meets those goals. So I'm as ambitious and as true to my goals as I am when I set them. And I'm as ambitious in pursuing them. So it's a full-time commitment. But like they've said before, and what's the important take-home message here is it's about behavior patterns. It's about reinforcing, getting positive momentum. And the folks watching at home who can empathize with some of the things we're talking about, once you take that first little step in the right direction, you can really surprise yourself about how much that can snowball into a wonderful positive feedback loop. And if you're living positively and you're pushing forward, good things happen.
Like pressing with 5 plates on each side.
Exactly.
And we're not talking about small plates.
Exactly.
So, that's right.
Exactly.
I killed it.
I know.
I was scared.
I was laughing at your joke.
I was scared
Exactly. So, like Brandy, you too can be amazed at what you can accomplish.
Come out and work out with us, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously, we're being honest and we're sincere about this. Just come out and let's create a community of people who are building better bodies, and use us as a resource. And we're going to come to you every week, and we're going to continue to do this because we want to show you. We want you guys to hold us accountable and test our integrity of the promises we make to you and to ourselves. That it's not just about this area of our life. We're going to have integrity. We're going to have integrity throughout. So, anyways, go to One Life Fitness South on Buckystown Pike. Ask for Deven Brady. Mention the video. Get a 7-day free pass. Start training and let us know how you're doing.
Absolutely.
And we will be back next week.
Thanks.
Awesome.